Welcome to Hannity, and tonight the race for the White House is in the final stretch, and voters will be headed to the polls in just 18 short days. Now, Donald Trump, he'll be here in just a minute with reaction, but first, it's been a very big week in politics. Now, the candidates, they faced off in their third and final debate in Las Vegas. The liberal mainstream media, they lost their minds over Donald Trump's comments about accepting election results, despite, of course, a long history of Democrats doing the exact same thing. And although Fox News cannot independently verify, undercover tapes from Project Veritas appear to expose very sinister schemes by Democrats to incite violence at Trump rallies and to commit massive voter fraud. And tomorrow, the GOP nominee will make a major pledge to American voters in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Joining us now with details, 2016 Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump. Mr. Trump, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you, Sean.
Can you give us a preview? It almost sounds like a contract with America or promises to America that you're going to be talking about tomorrow. What can you tell us?
Well, we're going to be doing a lot of things. We're going to be lowering taxes. We're going to be strengthening our border. We're going to be getting rid of regulations. The regulations are going to be gone because, I mean, you look at this country, what's happening with regulations, and we need them for security and we need them for certain things like the environment, but our regulations are just taking over our companies. We can't compete anymore. We're going to be terminating, repealing, and replacing Obamacare. We're going to be saving our Second Amendment. There are a lot of things, Sean. It's going to be, I think it's going to be very special.
I talk a lot about the profound differences. The Supreme Court vetting refugees, saying radical Islam, cutting taxes, raising taxes, keeping Obamacare, getting rid of Obamacare, building a wall, not building a wall, energy independence, no independence, education top down to the states. Those are deep, profound differences. Do you think the voters understand the choice that is theirs this election?
Well, I think they do, and I think if they watch the debates, they would really understand a lot. I mean, right now, I think you have two very clear choices. You have a really clear choice between Hillary Clinton and myself. And if you just look at the stances on everything, she's going to raise taxes, I'm going to lower taxes. She's going to increase regulations, I'm going to cut regulations down to a minimum, a good number, but down to a minimum. And there's so many different things. We're going to rebuild the military, we're going to take care of our vets, we're going to save the Second Amendment, we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare, which is a total disaster. She wants to make it even a bigger mess and going to spend trillions and trillions of dollars on it. It's crazy what's going on. And so you have a really clear choice. You have a very, very distinct choice.
You had been very critical in the media throughout this entire process. Now through WikiLeaks, we know the following news organizations: Univision, NBC, ABC, CBS, the New York Times, Politico, the Boston Globe, all of these organizations, CNN, in one way, fashion, or form, have been in the pocket of Hillary Clinton. What's your reaction to that?
Well, it's totally brutal. I mean, you could do something that's, just fabulous. It's perfect. Everything's great. And then they end up giving you bad news and bad stories, bad coverage. It's the single greatest pylon, they say. This isn't me saying it. This is other people and even news organizations. The single greatest pylon. Despite that, you just saw the crowd we had outside. We're in Pennsylvania now. We just left North Carolina. I'm going back to Pennsylvania. I'm going to a different section in Pennsylvania in a little while. We have a massive crowd there. It's been unbelievable what's going on. And I think that it's not pollable, although, as you know, 3 polls came out today saying I'm leading nationwide. And look, it's a question of taxes. It's a question of borders. Do we want to have a country or not? We're going to have strong borders. And we're going to have people come into our country. But, Sean, they're going to come in legally through a process. They're going to come in legally. So, I think a lot was learned in the debates. I think you understand how we did and how well we did in the debates, and I think we really showed a big difference.
I want to ask you, and you did bring this up during the debate, I only want to play you one small clip of the Project Veritas videos, and it's about the flow of money to these operatives that admit and brag that they're fomenting and causing violence, even back in the Chicago incident in March, but also talking about a massive voter fraud plan that they have and they want to orchestrate. I want you to hear how the money flows and then respond to the 2 specific tapes. Listen to this.
I am contracted to him, but I answer to the head of special events for the DNC and the head of the special events and political for the campaign.
The campaign pays DNC, DNC pays Democracy Partners, Democracy Partners pays the Fogle Group goes and executes.
All right, so let me read it. It says the campaign pays the DNC. The DNC pays Democracy Partners. Democracy Partners pays the Fogle Group. They are the people bragging about fomenting violence at your events, inciting it, and they're the people that also talk at length about massive voter fraud in this election. And you came under heavy fire after the debate for saying, I'll keep you in suspense about accepting the election outcome. What is your reaction to these
Sean,
tapes?
I've been saying for a long time, it's a rigged system. It's just terrible what's going on. And then the politicians play right along with it. I mean, you have 1.8 million people who are dead who are registered to vote, and some of them absolutely vote. Now, tell me how they do that. There's only one way. But you have 2.5 million people or so that are registered in 2 states. That means they're voting twice. Look, we have a system. I'm a big believer in the system. I love our country. But I think I've done a great service by pointing this out. And a lot of people agree with what I'm saying. That I can tell you. But when you look at those tapes, it's disgusting. Our rally in Chicago, that's where they were. They were there. And nobody could figure out what was going on. Where did these... They're real thugs, by the way, real thugs. And they injured policemen. They injured people. And they should be put in jail. I mean, these are bad people. And again, it's a rigged system. And who got blamed for it? Our rally people. Us, me, everybody. We all got blamed for it.
You.
And it had nothing to do with us.
Well, the Democratic operative overseeing this visited the Obama White House 342 times. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think it's a disgrace. And I guess he saw the president 44 times, they say. Who knows? But I think it's disgraceful. Can you imagine the one who was overseeing violence? And this is a criminal act. I don't know if you saw the picture. Cops were leaving. These policemen, these great people were leaving with massive gashes in their head from these people. These are professional thugs. They were being paid $1,500 a day, and they got cell phones out of it. No, this is a very serious problem. And I think come November 8th, I think we're going to win. And maybe we're going to win bigger than people ever even dreamed. When you look at Pennsylvania, look at what's happening here. When you look at North Carolina, where it just left, you look at Ohio, and you see what's happening. You see what's happening with some of the jobs, the companies that are leaving our country and going to Mexico and other places. You see what's happening with Obamacare, which is such a disaster. Obamacare is a catastrophe. The premiums are going up 60, 70, 80%. The care is no good. You can't even get it, the deductible side. I mean, say what you want. Bill Clinton said, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. He said that, and he probably suffered
New Mexico,
that night. But he said Obamacare is a disaster. It is a total disaster.